Good.
How are you?
Yeah,
Miss
I'm
Olympia
pumped. It's
5?
still like, it's weird. It like, I don't know. I have to like really sit and think about it for it to feel real, you know? It's a,
Yeah,
it's a weird feeling.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure you've just kind of been like, you know, on the go since coming back from Toronto. I saw that you also had some competitors doing a show recently. So between being the competitor and then helping competitors and just, you know,
Just a
all of that,
lot.
I'm sure
I
you've
just,
had a
you know,
lot
I
going
took off,
on.
2 weeks out of Vancouver originally. That was my plan. I was going to take 2 weeks off going into the show, and I forewarned everyone like this may be longer than I think. So I really haven't, you know, I went back for like a week before New York, but I really haven't been physically at work in like 6 weeks. So yeah, we had, I don't know, 4 or 5 that competed this weekend. We've got another 5 competing this weekend, and then another 6 going to Universe. So like, yeah, between them needing my attention and just trying to, because, you know, like everyone's like, oh, you get a break now. Like, I really don't get a break now. I get to like, it's too close to get a break. So trying to balance the work bodybuilding thing is the goal at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's all the name of the game, right? Is balancing, having that good work-life balance, and a lot of the fans, they don't really get a chance to see all that goes into being the competitor, and that it really is a balancing act, finding that sweet spot, because you got to look out for yourself, but then you also have to make sure that the people that you're taking care of are good to go.
This is the first year that, it's probably why this year went so much better, because normally I'm a workaholic by nature, and so I will just grind myself into the floor trying to take care of other people. I'm not trying to make myself sound like, oh, I take care of other people. I don't know. I like money. I like what I do. So yeah, so this year I just told myself, you know, I'm gonna have to put bodybuilding first this time. So it's paid off clearly, but trying to get back to reality now is like, oh my God. It's a lot.
Yeah. So what is reality
like? What's a day-to-day
for you?
So we run, you know, our personal training business. So I start every morning. I have to be there at 5 a.m. I'm usually with clients between group classes and one-on-one clients until like 1 or 2. My husband does a split shift still because we need someone to do evenings because we need to accommodate that. So I come home, we eat, we maybe take a nap, we train because he's got to be back at work at 5. And yeah, between, you know, we really don't have lives. Like our friends are our clients. That's about all we have. So we work and we train, and when we're not working, we're on our phones doing check-ins and stuff. So yeah, it's just all bodybuilding all the time.
But that's the key, right? You know, you have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then it's not going to make all the sacrifices. It's not going to make all of those hard works, those highs, those lows worth it. And you had to hang in there for 3 shows.
Yeah, no,
and you did because you love it.
I was having to remind myself of that, but yes. Yeah.
Yes, but that's something to be said, and that should be the biggest takeaway, right? Because, you know, when people are trying to strive for greatness and chase, you know, what they see and try to be like this and this, you have to make sure that you love what you do and you're doing this for you, because at the end of the day, you're going to have a win or you're going to have a loss, and you went and you saw all of it. You went through all of it.
I will say, this was like, I was on my way at the airport at Toronto, and I'm like, in Springfield still, but going to Toronto. So I'm at the airport by myself, and there was like a mom with her, I don't know, like 10-year-old daughter sitting like close enough to me that I'm hearing everything they're saying. And, you know, the daughter's like talking about like, I might want to do this when I grow up, might want to do that. And like, mom said to her, like, you know, you just got to find a job where like you know, maybe the people that work there make it better so it's likable, and you just got to find something that you can like manage doing the rest of your life. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, this is like what other people do? Like, that sounds awful. So yeah, it's those moments where you're like, you're tired and you're bitchy and you're stressed. You have to like sit back and realize like, I get to do whatever the fuck I want when I want to do it. So I don't really get to complain, you know? So what we do is cool. I can't complain.
Yeah, and that whole mentality, right? It reminds me you know, when I was younger and I was getting advice from my parents, right? The generation is
Uh-huh.
go to school, get a degree, you know, find somewhere where you belong, and you just buy your time. But
Yes.
that's like a slow
Oh,
death
for
sentence
sure.
for a lot of us, right? But that's the key just to anything that you want to do in life. You don't want to give yourself limits, and you want to put yourself in a box, because
You
after a
would think
while,
so.
right,
Oh,
you
and
outgrow that box.
I guess people don't. I don't know. I don't know how people do that. I don't know. I would be, yeah, I'd be way outgrowing the box real quick.
And you did it. You outgrew your own box. You went from women's physique to women's bodybuilding. And in these 3 shows, now you have solidified that you are here to stay in this division. Now you're going to the Olympia. So, I mean, that's an incredible idea when you're thinking about becoming great. In this sport, you can create that box and explode and, you know, and knock it out and, you know, build it up again. And that's the cool thing about this thing, you know? There's just no box really that you can stay in. You can blow out that next box.
There's
and that
always
next box and that
always a new one, man. Yep.
Exactly. There's always new levels to this. So I want you to take us back a little bit to Toronto and kind of walk me through that whole preparation, because I know that it was probably a little bit different than New York was.
Really, as far as like prep goes, so prior to New York, everything was like going really well. I don't know, like the Tuesday prior to the show, I don't know if I ate something bad. I was like violently ill from Tuesday to Friday. So I was very flat at that show. I looked a lot better at the night show, but prejudging was very flat. And then I also stood next to Natalia, which makes anybody feel small, right? So we knew coming out of that we needed to be really full going into the show. Conditioning was already like in a spot where we had some room to play. So we actually got to the point where like, my body was definitely getting tired, so it was kind of starting to kick back a little bit. That's the fun part of 3 shows in a row. But also I was just like burning through food so quickly that we were having to eat a lot. And that's kind of like a weird psychological thing, right? Like when you're having to eat that much, you expect to wake up and like look like shit. And you're like, what happened? Yeah. So we were eating a lot going into that. We ate a lot going into the show. So that was really the only big difference. We came in really, really full, almost like personally I can't complain. Like I won the show, but like that's not like our preference on a look. I think my body was getting a little tired. B, it was a little fuller than I would have liked, but really that was the only big difference. Just more food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what this is about, is finding that sweet spot. And what works for one show sometimes doesn't work necessarily for the next show. And lots of factors come into play. Again, you said health, but travel, all sorts of things. You never really can truly peg what it may or may not be, but you notice a little bit of a shift. But that's good. You adapt, and then now you can just assess what you need to do moving forward. So when you were there, now I want you to walk us through Toronto. What was that actual day like?
That's the first show I've ever gone to by myself. So we chose to leave. My husband stayed at home. So I traveled internationally by myself, which was a little frightening, but it actually turned out to be like, I like having my husband there, but honestly, it's almost like less stressful when you're by yourself. You can like really, I'm able to compartmentalize really well. So it was fun. It was a lot less stressful. The girls that were there, I had a bunch of like friends to hang out with there. That was cool. That shows just ran really well. Like even the tanning and the hair and the makeup people I used were better. Like it was just an all around good experience. Now I will say, as far as like a mindset going into that, I had like promised myself at that show that I was not going to have any emotions either way until the entire thing was done. even if like I walked out of prejudging thinking like, I think I have it, or walking out of there thinking I think I don't, I just was going to stay monotone until the whole thing was done. I tried not to like look at anybody's posts on social media or anybody's predictions or anything like that. So it was like a big, I mean, winning was cooler that way because the expectation was not there, you know?
I think that's, I don't know, that's kind of how I like to personally do it when I compete. I don't like to try to put too much hype on it because, and then I can see where you're coming from too. At that point, you're like, okay, I've done 2. This is my 3rd. You know, this is not me just showing up and like, oh yeah, this is, you know, my first go round. Oh yeah. This is, okay, let's get this
that was
done.
definitely, we were getting a little more, there was less like, I felt like for New York, because no one had seen Natalia in a while, no one knew what was going on there, I got hyped up so hard, like everyone was like predicting me to win that show. And that felt cool, don't get me wrong, but then like having all that going into it and showing up and being like, oh fuck, Godzilla's here, like cool. So it was just, by the time I hit Toronto, it was definitely like, there was a lot of internal pressure. Like I knew if I didn't get this one, there's not another show to do for 8 weeks, and I can't hold out for 8 weeks. So I knew if it wasn't this one, it was going to be done. So there's more internal pressure, but I also just felt like you're either going to like me or you're not. Like this is my 3rd try. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
time
seems to be a charm. So what is your main takeaway that you can, besides qualifying for the Olympia, because that's a huge feat and takeaway all on its own, but what is, you know, a takeaway that you can say you got from this season? Because every season you take something, right? And I know you're not completely done, but where we're at right now, right? You've been eventful. So what can you say you've really
like
been able to take
as a bodybuilder, you mean? Like,
it could be from a professional and a personal, because this is, you know, it teaches on so many levels.
Well, I think this is the first year that I still have a ways to go as far as like behaving like a true professional athlete, but I think I've gotten a lot better as far as like, you know, I think everyone thinks of bodybuilding and they just think of like I'm going to get my workouts in and my cardio and, you know, but like the sleep and the, like, I'm not going to use artificial sweeteners and I'm going to actually practice my posing and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think I'm, yeah.
It's my meals.
Like any little small detail, I think I've gotten, I realize the seriousness of that a lot more, especially like the pre-show stuff, like the tan and all of that, like taking that a lot more seriously now. So I think I definitely feel like I'm behaving more like a professional athlete. I've taken a lot out of that. And I don't know, the big thing really, I think I'm realizing now that I never tried super hard on the little details, because even though in my head, obviously I've been doing this for 10 years, there's been like some kind of blind faith as far as like, I think that maybe I could be good at this. I don't think that I truly believed I could achieve the things I wanted to achieve. And now after seeing some of the things I wanted come true, I think there's definitely more self-belief and self-confidence to try harder, you know? It's hard to be motivated when you don't think you can do it, you know, even if that's, I know everyone should like feel like they can do it and reach for the stars, but like you got to see some like real practical evidence, you know?
I agree with you on that. You know, I believe that the power of manifestation and visualizing things is so real, right? And you want to stay in that mindset. However, it does feel so much better when you actually see some tangible, viable results from those said beliefs, right? To kind of further back it up. Okay, I'm going in the right direction of whatever it is that I'm choosing to do. So I get it completely. Yeah. So, I mean, now that you are qualified for the Olympia, what is like one thing that you are telling yourself you want to do a little bit differently now?
So
like
my posing routine was a mess. I literally got up there and like forgot everything. So that was awful. I'll be the first person to say that. I've literally like, I paid Mona to make me a routine. I have started already, like we're working on it right now. So we have 6 months. That's the big piece. And then I have some little things like I need to like take the daily vacuums and abdominal control stuff a little more seriously. Yeah, just little things like that.
But that's good that you can take that, right, and assess that. I think that being able to not just focus on the things that we do well, but also focus on the things that we need to improve, and knowing that we constantly need to do those little things to make those bigger changes. That's what's going to keep you in the game, no matter, for however long you choose to be in it. You always learning, always growing, always taking something that you can go, all right, I could have done that a little bit better. And that's good. I like hearing that. It's refreshing.
Right.
We don't always have it figured out. We don't always have it together. We may have the intentions to go out there and give it our best, but sometimes stuff happens, and that's good.
Why more people aren't? I totally agree with you on that. I kind of get shit from people sometimes, because I think sometimes I come off almost like self-deprecating to people because they are not used to. Yeah, no, like yeah.
I'm like that too. It may come off like that too, but I'd rather just own up to my own
I
shit.
say it, you can't say it,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. That's how I feel too. I'm going to come out and get in front of my own
totally,
before you have a reason to say anything.
Yeah, if you're sitting over there like, oh, I look so good, my posing was awesome, and then they see my posing routine, they're going to be like, wow, okay. So, yeah, I would much rather just lay that shit out.
Well, that's good. And you have Mona Parsley, and Mona is an amazing poser. She's like best poser times 5,000. I don't even know how many years she's gotten that. So I'm excited.
She's going to be probably nervous about it herself, but she's got some work to do.
Aww,
for me.
Yeah, but that's going to be fun, right? I mean, I think that's going to be a good challenge for you to focus on, because some things you've already got down packed. So it's kind of cool. You have something else to work on. It's always something to just kind of
it's
just to make you that.
Yeah, it's good
more
to know. Like, there's meat on the bone for sure. Yeah, there's definitely meat on the bone with the posing.
Yeah,
a lot of that.
Yeah. So besides having Mona Parsley on your team, so I guess this have you shared this with anybody else, or am I one of the first people that
told anybody else that? But I mean, everyone can. I love Mona. Everyone can know that. She's on my team for life. So yeah.
Awesome. And so speaking of your team, you also have your husband. And is there anybody else that you're bringing into the fold, or you're just keeping it?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Now, what are some of the things that you guys have discussed, you and Ryan, as far as things that you feel you can share with me?
Oh God, we were already picking that apart immediately after the show. When I called him to tell him that I won, we were already doing this. So we both agree that although it seems like the judges like the full look, we need to find a balance between like New York and Toronto for sure. So we need to find the sweet spot there. And then really it's just going to be, my back sucks really bad. That's a big liability for me. So I've got to put some size on in the next, 3 months or however much time I really have to try to put size on. So that will be the main focus there. And he's like the most detail-oriented coach you can have. So he's always picking things apart. He was like, he just can't even like be happy and excited because it wasn't like the look he wanted exactly. You know what I mean? Like he's not like he told me I looked bad, but in his head, he like sees something and it wasn't quite there yet. So he will not rest until we are there. So he definitely has a vision for the Olympia. Oh yeah.
I like that though, right? Not satisfied, knowing, again, going back to assessing it and going, I could have looked better. I could have done this better. I need to improve this. I like hearing that, right? I'm the first one. I know when people were assessing me, I was like, yeah. And ever since then, like, I'm open with, I need to bring this in. I need to bring this up. I know what I did. But that's it, right? Because other people are watching, and it's kind of, I don't know, for me, it's kind of nice, like owning your own shit. It's just nice. Not saying I was the most balanced. Yes, I was the most this. No, I know I could make some adjustments. I'm grateful that I won, but I'm not sitting here thinking
Right.
that I have it all together.
Yeah.
I'm going to assess and move forward. And that's it. And that's it. And that's what's going to, again,
Hopefully
keep you in the game. Not being satisfied and assess.
Yeah.
And assess. Yeah. Well, make sure you pace yourself. I know sometimes we can be, you know, because we're competitors and we're like on it and we're just like, oh, I want to go. And, but like, I can say this personally, just pace yourself with this, because the next couple of months, there are going to be times where you're just going to want to go. I'm telling you, you're just going to, but you just got to, you know, just kind of coast it out every single day, coast it out, not look around, not care, not get all caught up. Keep your head down.
I'm ready for that. I'm like so sick of like having my body looked at, and you know, 'cause I train with my coach every day. So like, even when I'm training, he's like eyeballing me to see like, is she fat here? Is she flat here? You know, so I'm ready to not be looked at for a minute, for sure. Yeah. Go back, regroup, just be like, trust it. I got it, guys. I heard what you guys said. We hear you. Forget about me for the next 6 months, and I'll be there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So when people see you in the next couple,
that's what I'm hoping for, man. The next show will roll around. No one will remember it. I even won the show. Olympia, they'll be surprised. So it'll be good. Yeah.
I love it. Yes. So I got a couple more here, and then I'll let you go. So now that you've made it to this point, what is something that current you, would say to the you that was getting ready for Van Island? I know, right? It's been a wild ride.
Oh, I think the biggest thing, looking back on that show, prepping for that, I had every reason to be, because like, I really like, when I look back on my prep pictures from the start, I had no business prepping for that show. I put on, I don't know, like, I mean, I only lost like 6 pounds during that prep, and I started very fat. So I put on a good amount of tissue during prep. I got very lucky with that. So the entire time I was like very paranoid about being small, like very worried about it. So I kind of wish that I don't know. It was probably good that I was worried about that. Maybe I wouldn't want to know that. I don't know. That's a hard question. I guess, yeah, I really feel like outside of, I don't really know if there's anything I would change. I don't know.
What was going through your head before you started this season that you think has maybe changed, or, you know, maybe it's the same, maybe it's louder, a louder voice, you know, like for sure. Everyone has that little voice, right? That little voice, So was that voice that you had going on different before as opposed to now? Has it changed? Is it the same? Because I know for me, like before I competed last year, there was a voice like you, I kind of heard a little bit of it, so I can kind of walk you back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but doubt, I wasn't even sure I was gonna, you know, stand a chance, because I know I was coming off of not even placing, you know, the game of doubt, all those different things. And then after, I kind of had a little moment where I went, okay, all right. So I did that. I guess there might be something to this, keep going kind of thing. And so that was like my mindset. I mean, I still kind of had imposter syndrome off and on, and that'll happen to anybody, like leading up to it. And I've been completely honest with fans and people about it. But I don't know. Does that kind of, have you noticed anything like similar? I don't know.
That? It's like, I'm very like, I'm like, not that I'm like big on horoscopes, but like when you read about a Leo, I'm a very true Leo. So I can be very confident and cocky for no reason. Like I can have no business feeling that way, but I'll feel that way. So like I was just telling Ryan this the other day, like when I started prep, I was just coming off of, I just got my boobs done in August. And then I had this nerve injury where I like lost function of this hand and was like in months and months of pain. That was like a whole fucked up thing. So I had a lot of days and months where like training wasn't awesome, food wasn't awesome. I did not look good going to that prep. But when I started and like I told Ryan I wanted to do that show, I, in my head, felt pretty good about it. And now when I look back on those pictures, I'm like, why did I feel good about that? I don't know. So there's definitely like the imposter syndrome thing. Like I've used that in the last couple weeks because like people will, I don't know, I had like a girl at the gym that like wanted to take a picture with me, or like I went and trained with Mike Van Wyck and he ended up making a YouTube video out of it. And I literally was walking in there like, I hope he lets me take a picture with him. That'd be cool. So it's just shit like that I'm like, why do you guys think I'm cool? I still have a lot of that. But I don't know. As far as like the mentality thing, I'm really good about, I can compartmentalize really well, man. Like I can convince myself that like, you're going to go be Miss Olympia. But there's definitely like a layer of self-doubt in there. It just gets kind of reorganized at times. That's a lot. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird place in here.
No, but that's kind of genius that you're able to do that. And I think a lot of more people wish they could do that, right? Because it's like you have the part of your brain that says you can do this, and then you have the other part of your brain that's saying, what the heck are you doing? And you're able to make that part that says you can shout just a little bit louder than the one that says you can't, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody
it doesn't
else.
make
and
sense.
That's the key, right?
But I feel good about it. So, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what got you through, was the subconscious saying, no, we're doing this. We're doing this. We are bodybuilder. We can do this. And you kind of manifested it, even if you didn't think that you did, because just even you danced around the idea of Olympia. You planted that seed.
That's been the intention the whole time. I think, I don't know, like you hear like Nick Walker's really like famous for being incredibly confident and assured of himself all the time. I don't know that I feel like that. I think where he's confident, I'm just a stubborn asshole. I will just keep fucking clawing until like I'm bleeding to death. Like I'm too stubborn to not. So I think it's more of that than a confidence thing. That's the honest truth. It's not as cool as it sounds.
She's like, I tooth and nail. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you're in something like this, when you're in a sport like this, where you have no idea what the outcome is, you kind of got to have that mentality. So, I mean, you know, again, you might be on
in some parts of my life, I think it works out, and some it does not.
You know, hey, I feel like, you know, we don't always, we have some parts that work for us and other parts, you know, people are like, how are you doing it? And you're like, oh, my cancer.
That's my life all the time.
You know, like,
right.
I'm doing it in smokes. You know, we see my hair.
Then no one else sees that. That's the goal.
Right, and that no one sees that. So, finishing this off, what is it that you're looking forward to the most?
Oh my God.
At this
you're going to laugh
Olympia,
at my answer to this.
That you're going to be
the entire time, the thing I've been, this sounds really stupid. This is kind of half joking, so don't take me too seriously. The tracksuit, dude. I want that tracksuit. It's kind of stupid, but like it's been like when I think about the Olympia. Yeah, dude, I want the tracksuit. That's so cool. I've been jealous of that for years.
Yeah,
I get that. It's tracksuit season, baby. Girl. Yeah.
We'll have to make sure, because I'm going to be at the Olympia, that we make it a point to have this conversation again.
I will wear it
in your
every day. It will smell terrible 6 months from then. It will be worn all the time.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've worn my crop top to the ground. So, you know, you wear it like with honor. For one time, I think I slept in it for a couple of nights. So well, Jules, I'm so happy that we had this time to talk, and it's always cool chatting with you. Like, you're so chill, and I hope that, you know, more and more people get to see this real side of you. And it is refreshing, you know. More of us need to be like just unapologetically ourselves, and you know, it's just to me, that's the real win, right? It's not about, oh, I won and then flexing.
Right.
It's I won, but I could do better. I won. I'm grateful to be here. Let's get back to work type of mentality. And that's what.
Thank you for having me on. Anytime you want to chat,
I'm
I'm happy to come and ramble to you, and hopefully anything I said made sense.
Oh, no, it was great. It was all good. Like I said, this was great, and just best of luck in the months ahead, and can't wait to be talking to you again, girl. So this has been my second episode, Queens of the Olympia, with women's bodybuilder Julia Whitesel. She just won Toronto Pro, and she is going to the 2023 Miss Olympia.
Yep.
And the dogs in the background go, woo woo. So that's it for right now. Thanks everyone that's tuned in and showed all the comments and stuff. I've been trying to keep up. So we love you. She loves you. And follow her on her page. She's got a YouTube coming soon. And
Thank you.
So bye.